Hello everyone, good evening. Now we are going to read the core syllabus of Neet exam. I am going to appear for the Neet 2024 and so let's start to read. Physics, Chemistry, Biology, Higher Secondary Stage for National Eligibility cum Entrance Test Neet for admission to MBBS courses across the country. Medical Council of India. The Medical Council of India (MCI) recommends the following syllabus for national eligibility cum entrance test for admission to MBBS courses across the country. Neet UG, after review of various state syllabi as well as those prepared by CBSE, NCERT, COBSE. This is to establish a uniformity across the country, keeping in the view the relevance of different areas in medical education. So let's start the physics syllabus of class 11th. Index of the physics syllabus of class 11th. First, physical world and measurement. Second, kinematics. Third, laws of motion. 4. Work, energy and power. 5. Motion of system of particles and rigid body. 6. Gravitation. 7. Properties of bulk matter. 8. Thermodynamics. 9. Behavior of perfect gas and kinetic theory. 10. Oscillations and waves. Physics syllabus index of class 12. 1. Electrostatics. 2. Current electricity. 3. Magnetic effects of current and magnetism. 4. Electromagnetic induction and alternating currents. 5. Electromagnetic waves. 6. Optics. 7. Dual nature of matter and radiation. 8. Atoms and nuclei. 9. Electronic devices. Chemistry syllabus index of class 11th. 1. Some basic concepts of chemistry. 2. Structure of atom. 3. Classification of elements and periodicity in properties. 4. Chemical bonding and molecular structure. 5. States of matter, gases and liquids. 6. Thermodynamics. 7. Equilibrium. 8. Redox reactions. 9. Hydrogen. 10. S-block element, alkali and alkaline earth metals. 11. Some P-block elements. 12. Organic chemistry, some basic principles and techniques. 13. Hydrocarbons. 14. Environmental chemistry. Chemistry syllabus of class 12. Index. 1. Solid state. 2. Solutions. 3. Electrochemistry. 4. Chemical kinetics. 5. Surface chemistry. 6. General principles and processes of isolation of elements. 7. P block elements. 8. D and F block elements. 9. Coordination compounds. 10. Haloalkenes and haloarenes. 11. Alcohols, phenols and ethers. 12. Aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acids. 13. Organic compounds containing nitrogen. 14. Biomolecules. 15. Polymers. 16. Chemistry in everyday life. Biology index syllabus of class 11th. 1. Diversity in living world. 2. Structural organization in animals and plants. 3. Cell structure and function. 4. Plant physiology. 5. Human physiology. Biology syllabus index of class 12th. 1. Reproduction. 2. Genetics and evolution. 3. Biology and human welfare. 4. Biotechnology and its applications. 5. Ecology and environment. Let's read the syllabus of class 11th and 12th physics in deep. Contents class 11th syllabus. Physics. Unit 1. Physical world and measurement. Details. Physics. Scope and experiment. Nature of physical laws. Physics. Technology and society. Need for measurement. Units of measurement. Systems of units. SI units. Fundamental and derived units. Length, mass and time measurements. Accuracy and precision of measuring instruments. Errors in measurement. Significant figures. Dimensions of physical quantities. Dimensional analysis and its applications. Physics Unit 2 Kinematics. Details. Frame of reference. Motion in a straight line. Position time graph. Speed and velocity. Uniform and non-uniform motion. Average speed and instantaneous velocity. Uniformly accelerated motion. Velocity time and position time graphs. For uniformly accelerated motion, graphical treatment. Elementary concepts of differentiation and integration for describing motion. Scalar and vector quantities. Position and displacement vectors. General vectors and notation. Equality of vectors. Multiplication of vectors by a real number. Addition and subtraction of vectors. Relative velocity. Unit vectors. Resolution of a vector in a plane rectangular components. Scalar and vector products of vectors. Motion in a plane. Cases of uniform velocity and uniform acceleration projectile motion. Uniform circular motion. Physics Unit 3 Laws of Motion. Details. Intuitive concept of force. Inertia. Newton's first law of motion. Momentum and Newton's second law of motion. Impulse. Newton's third law of motion. Law of conservation of linear momentum and its applications. Equilibrium of concurrent forces. Static and kinetic friction. Laws of friction. Rolling friction. Lubrication. Dynamics of uniform circular motion. Centripetal force. Examples of circular motion. Vehicle on level circular road. Vehicle on banked road. Physics Unit 4 Work, Energy and Power. Work done by a constant force and variable force. Kinetic energy. Work energy theorem. Power. Notion of potential energy. Potential energy of a spring. Conservative forces. Conservation of mechanical energy. Kinetic and potential energies. Non-conservative forces. Motion in a vertical circle. Elastic and inelastic collisions in 1 and 2 dimensions. Physics Unit 5 Motion of System of Particles and Rigid Body. Details. Center of mass of a two-particle system. Momentum conservation and center of mass motion. Center of mass of a rigid body. Center of mass of uniform rod. Movement of a force, torque, angular momentum. Conservation of angular momentum with some examples. Equilibrium of rigid bodies. Rigid body rotation and equation of rotational motion. Comparison of linear and rotational motions. Moment of inertia. Radius of gyration. Values of mi for simple geometrical objects. No derivation. Statement of parallel and perpendicular axis theorems and their applications. Physics Unit 6 Gravitation. Kepler's laws of planetary motion. The universal law of gravitation. Acceleration due to gravity and its variation with altitude and depth. Gravitational potential energy. Gravitational potential. Escape velocity. Orbital velocity of a satellite. Geostationary satellite. Physics Unit 7 Properties of bulk matter. Elastic behavior. Stress strain relationship. Hooke's law. Young's modulus. Bulk modulus. Shear. Modulus of rigidity. Poisson's ratio. Elastic energy. Viscosity. Stokes law. Terminal velocity. Reynolds number. Streamline and turbulent flow. Critical velocity. Bernoulli's theorem and its applications. Surface energy and surface tension. Angle of contact. Excess of pressure. Application of surface tension ideas to drops, bubbles, and capillary rise. Heat, temperature, thermal expansion of solids, liquids, and gases. Anomalous expansion, specific heat capacity, CP, CV, calorimetry, change of state, latent heat. Heat transfer, conduction and thermal conductivity, convection and radiation. Qualitative ideas of black body radiation. Wien's displacement law and greenhouse effect. Newton's law of cooling and Stephen's law. Physics Unit 8 Thermodynamics. Thermal equilibrium and definition of temperature. Zeroth law of thermodynamics. Heat, work, and internal energy. First law of thermodynamics. Isothermal and adiabatic processes. Second law of thermodynamics. Reversible and irreversible processes. Heat engines and refrigerators. Unit 9 Physics. Behavior of perfect gas and kinetic theory. Equation of state of a perfect gas. Work done on compressing a gas. Kinetic theory of gases. Assumptions. Concept of pressure. Kinetic theory and temperature. Degrees of freedom. Law of equipartition of energy. Statement only. And application to specific heat capacities of gases. Concept of mean free path. Unit 10 Physics. Oscillations and waves. Periodic motion, period, frequency, displacement as a function of time. Periodic functions. Simple harmonic motion, SHM, and its equation. Phase. Oscillations of a spring restoring force and force constant. Energy in SHM kinetic and potential energies. Simple pendulum derivation of expression for its time period. Free forced and damped oscillations. Qualitative ideas only. Resonance. Wave motion. Longitudinal and transverse waves. Speed of wave motion. Displacement relation for a progressive wave. Principle of superposition of waves. Reflection of waves. Standing waves in strings and organ pipes. Fundamental mode and harmonics. Beats. Doppler effect. Now let's start physics content of class 12th. Physics class 12th unit 1. Electrostatics. Electric charges and their conservation. Coulomb's law force between two-point charges. Forces between multiple charges. Superposition principle and continuous charge distribution. Electric field. Electric field due to a point charge. Electric field lines. Electric dipole. Electric field due to a dipole. Torque on a dipole in a uniform electric field. Electric flux. Statement of Gauss theorem and its applications to find field due to infinitely long straight wire. Uniformly charged infinite plane sheet and uniformly charged thin spherical shell. Field inside and outside. Electric potential, potential difference, electric potential due to a point charge, a dipole and a system of charges. Equipotential surfaces, electrical potential energy of a system of two-point charges and of electric dipoles in an electrostatic field. Conductors and insulators, free charges and bound charges inside a conductor. Dielectrics and electric polarization, capacitors and capacitance, combination of capacitors in series and in parallel. Capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor with and without dielectric medium between the plates. Energy stored in a capacitor. Van de Graaff generator. Physics class 12th unit 2 current electricity. Electric current, flow of electric charges in a metallic conductor, drift velocity and mobility, and their relation with electric current. Ohm's law, electric resistance, VI characteristics, linear and non-linear, electrical energy and power, electrical resistivity and conductivity, carbon resistors, color code for carbon resistors, series and parallel combinations of resistors, temperature dependence of resistance, internal resistance of a cell, potential difference and EMF of a cell, combination of cells in series and in parallel, Kirchhoff's law and simple applications, Wheatstone bridge, Mitter bridge, potentiometer, principle and applications to measure potential difference and for comparing EMF of two cells, measuring of internal resistance of a cell. Physics class 12th unit 3 magnetic effects of electric current and magnetism. Concept of magnetic field. Oersted experiment. Biot-Savart law and its application to current carrying circular loop. Ampere's law and its application to infinitely long straight wire. Straight and toroidal solenoids. Force on a moving charge in uniform magnetic and electric fields. Cyclotron. Force on a current carrying conductor in a uniform magnetic field. Force between two parallel current carrying conductors. Definition of ampere. Torque experienced by a current loop in a magnetic field. Moving coil galvanometer. Its current sensitivity and conversion to ammeter and voltmeter. Current loop as a magnetic dipole and its magnetic dipole moment. Magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron. Magnetic field intensity due to a magnetic dipole, bar magnet, along its axis and perpendicular to its axis. Torque on a magnetic dipole, bar magnet, in a uniform magnetic field. Bar magnet as an equivalent solenoid, magnetic field lines, Earth's magnetic field, and magnetic elements. Para, di, and ferromagnetic substances with examples. Electromagnetic and factors affecting their strengths. Permanent magnets. Class 12th Physics Unit 4 Electromagnetic Induction and Alternating Currents. Electromagnetic Induction Faraday's Law Induced EMF and Current Lenz's Law Eddy Currents Self and Mutual Inductance Alternating currents. Peak and RMS value of alternating current. Voltage. Reactance and impedance. LC oscillations. Qualitative treatment only. LCR series circuit. Resonance. Power in AC circuits. Wattles current. AC generator and transformer. Electro Unit 5 Class 12 Physics Electromagnetic waves. Need for displacement current, electromagnetic waves and their characteristics, qualitative ideas only, transverse nature of electromagnetic waves, electromagnetic spectrum, radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible, ultraviolet, X-rays, gamma rays, including elementary facts about their uses. Class 12th Physics Unit 6 Optics. Reflection of light, spherical mirrors, mirror formula, diffraction of light, total internal reflection and its applications, optical fibers, refraction at spherical surfaces, lenses. Thin lens formula, lens maker's formula, magnification, power of lens, combination of thin lenses in contact combination of a lens and a mirror, refraction and dispersion of light through a prism, scattering of light, blue color of sky and reddish appearance of the sun at sunrise and sunset, optical instruments, human eye, image formation and accommodation, correction of eye defects, myopia, hypermetropia using lenses, microscopes and astronomical telescopes, reflecting and refracting and their magnifying powers. Wave optics, wavefront and Huygens principle, reflection and refraction of plane wave at a plane surface using wavefronts, proof of laws of reflection and refraction using Huygens principle, interference, Young's double hole experiment, and expression for fringe width, coherent sources and sustained interference of light, diffraction due to a single slit width of central maximum, resolving power of microscopes and astronomical telescopes, polarization, plane polarized light, Brewster's law, uses of plane polarized light and Polaroids. Unit 7 Physics Class 12 Dual nature of matter and radiation. Photoelectric effect. Hertz and Lenard's observation. Einstein's photoelectric equation. Particle nature of light. Matter waves. Wave nature of particles. De Broglie relation. Davison-Germer experiment. Experimental details should be omitted. Only conclusions should be explained. Unit 8 Atoms and Nuclei. Alpha particle scattering experiments. Rutherford's model of atom. Bohr model. Energy levels. Hydrogen spectrum. Composition and size of nucleus. Atomic masses. Isotopes. Isobars. Isotones. Radioactivity. Alpha, beta, and gamma particles. Rays and their properties. Decay law mass energy relation, mass defect, binding energy per nucleon, and its variation with mass number, nuclear fission and fusion. Class 12 Physics, Unit 9 Electronic Devices. Energy bands in solids, qualitative ideas only. Conductors, insulators, and semiconductors. Semiconductor diode 1 to 5 characteristics in forward and reverse bias. Diode as a rectifier 1 to 5 characteristics of LED. Photodiode, solar cell, and Zener diode. Zener diode as a voltage regulator. Junction transistor, transistor action. Characteristics of a transistor. Transistor as an amplifier. Common emitter configuration and oscillator. Logic gates OR and NOT, NAND and NOR. OR, AND, NOT, NAND, NOR. Transistor as a switch. Let's start chemistry syllabus in deep. Contents of class 11 syllabus. Class 11 chemistry unit 1 some basic concepts of chemistry. General introduction important and scope of chemistry. Laws of chemical combination, Dalton's atomic theory, concept of elements, atoms, and molecules, atomic and molecular masses, mole concept and molar mass, percentage composition and empirical and molecular formula, chemical reactions, stoichiometry, and calculations based on stoichiometry. Class 11 Chemistry Unit 2 Structure of Atom Atomic number, isotopes and isobars, concept of shells and subshells, dual nature of matter and light, de Broglie's relationship, Heisenberg uncertainty principle, concept of orbital, quantum numbers, shapes of s, p and d orbitals, rules for filling electrons in orbitals, Aufbau principle, Pauli exclusion principles and Hund's rule, electronic configuration of atoms, stability of half-filled and completely filled orbitals. Class 11 Chemistry, Physics Chemistry, Unit 3, Classification of Elements and Periodicity in Properties, Modern Periodic Law, and long form of periodic table, periodic trends in properties of elements, that is, atomic radii, ionic radii, ionization enthalpy, electron gain enthalpy, electronegativity, valence. Class 11th Chemistry, Unit 4, Chemical Bonding and Molecular Structure, Valence electrons, ionic bond, covalent bond, bond parameters, Lewis structure, polar character of covalent bond, valence bond theory, resonance, geometry of molecules, VSEPR theory, concept of hybridization involving s, p, and d orbitals and shapes of some simple molecules, molecular orbital theory of homonuclear diatomic molecules, qualitative idea only, hydrogen bond. Class 11 Chemistry Unit 5 States of Matter, Gases and Liquids. Three states of matter, intermolecular interactions, types of bonding, melting and boiling points, role of gas, laws of elucidating the concept of the molecule, Boyle's law, Charles' law, Gay-Lussac's law, Avogadro's law, ideal behavior of gases, empirical derivation of gas equation, Avogadro number, ideal gas equation, kinetic energy, and molecular speeds, elementary idea. Deviation from ideal behavior, liquefaction of gases, critical temperature. Liquid state, vapor, pressure, viscosity, and surface tension. Qualitative idea only, no mathematical derivations. Class 11 Chemistry, Unit 6 Thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics, internal energy and enthalpy, heat capacity and specific heat, measurement of U and H, Hess law of constant heat summation enthalpy, of bond dissociation, combustion, formation, atomization, sublimation, phase transition, ionization, solution, and dilution. Introduction of entropy as state function. Second law of thermodynamics gives energy change for spontaneous and non-spontaneous process. Criteria for equilibrium and spontaneity. Third law of thermodynamics, brief introduction. Class 11th Chemistry Unit 7 Equilibrium. Equilibrium in physical and chemical processes, dynamic nature of equilibrium, law of chemical equilibrium, equilibrium constant, factors of affecting equilibrium, Le-Chatelier's principle, ionic equilibrium, ionization of acids and bases, strong and weak electrolytes, degree of ionization of polybasic acids, acid strength, concept of pH, hydrolysis of salts, elementary idea only, buffer solutions, Henderson equation, solubility product, common ion effect with illustrative examples. Class 11 Chemistry Unit 8 Redox Reactions. Concept of oxidation and reduction. Redox reactions, oxidation number. Balancing redox reactions in terms of loss and gain of electrons and change in oxidation numbers. Class 11th Unit 9 Chemistry Hydrogen. Occurrence, isotopes, preparation, properties and uses of hydrogen. Hydride, cyanic, covalent and interstitial, physical and chemical properties of water, heavy water, hydrogen peroxide preparation, reactions, uses and structure. Class 11, Unit 10, S block elements. Chemistry, alkali and alkaline earth metals. Group 1 and Group 2 elements. General introduction, electronic configuration, occurrence, anomalous properties of first element of each group, diagonal relationship, trends in the variation of properties such as ionization enthalpy, atomic and ionic radii, trends in chemical reactivity with oxygen, water, hydrogen and halogens, uses, preparation and properties of some important compounds, sodium carbonate, sodium chloride, sodium hydroxide and sodium hydrogen carbonate, biological importance of sodium and potassium, industrial use of lime and limestone, biological importance of Mg, that is magnesium and calcium. Unit 11, Class 11 Chemistry, some P block elements. General introduction to P block elements, Group 13 elements. General introduction, electronic configuration, occurrence, variation of properties, oxidation states, trends in chemical reactivity, anomalous properties of first element of the group. Boron, some important compounds, borax, boric acids, boron hydrides, aluminium uses, reactions with acids and alkalis. General 14 elements, general introduction, electronic configuration, occurrence, variation of properties, oxidation states, trends in chemical reactivity, anomalous behavior of first element, carbon, allotropic forms, physical and chemical properties, uses of some important compounds, that is oxides, important compounds of silicon and a few uses, silicon tetrachloride, silicones, silicates and zeolites, their uses. Class 11 Chemistry Unit 12 Organic Chemistry, some basic principles and techniques. General introduction, methods of purification, qualitative and quantitative analysis, classification and IUPAC nomenclature of organic compounds, electronic displacements in a covalent bond, inductive effect, electromeric effect, resonance and hyperconjugation, homolytic and heterolytic fission of a covalent bond, free radicals, carbocations, carboanions, electrophiles, nucleophiles, types of organic reactions. Class 11th Chemistry Unit 13 Hydrocarbons, alkanes, nomenclature, isomerism, conformations, ethane only. Physical properties, chemical reactions, including free radical mechanism of halogenation, combustion, and pyrolysis. Alkanes, nomenclature, structure of double bond, ethene, geometrical isomerism, physical properties, methods of preparation, chemical reactions, addition of hydrogen, halogen, water, hydrogen halides, Markovnikov's addition and peroxide effect. Ozonolysis, oxidation, mechanism of electrophilic addition. Alkynes, nomenclature, structure of triple bond, ethyne, to physical properties, methods of preparation, chemical reactions, acidic character of alkynes, addition reaction of hydrogen, halogens, hydrogen halides, and water. Aromatic hydrocarbons, introduction, IUPAC nomenclature, benzene, resonance, aromaticity, chemical properties, mechanism of electrophilic substitution, nitration, sulfonation, halogenation, Friedel-Crafts alkylation, and acylation, directive influence of functional group in monosubstituted benzene, carcinogenicity, and toxicity. Class 11 Chemistry Unit 15, Environmental Chemistry, Environmental Pollution, Air, Water and Soil Pollution, Chemical Reactions in Atmosphere, Smogs, Major Atmospheric Pollutants, Acid Rain, Ozone and its reactions, Effects of Depletion of Ozone Layer, Greenhouse Effect and Global Warming Pollution due to Industrial Wastes. Green Chemistry as an alternative tool for reducing pollution, Strategy for Control of Environmental Pollution. Contents of Class 12 Syllabus Chemistry. Class 12 Chemistry, Unit 1 Solid State. Classification of solids based on different binding forces, molecular, ionic, covalent, and metallic solids, amorphous and crystalline solids, that is elementary idea only. Unit cell in two-dimensional and three-dimensional lattices, calculation of density of unit cell, packing in solids, packing efficiency, voids, number of atoms per unit cell in a cubic unit cell, point defects, electrical and magnetic properties, band theory of metals, conductors, semiconductors, and insulators. Class 12 Chemistry Unit 2 Solutions. Types of solutions, expression of concentration of solutions of solids in liquids, solubility of gases in liquids, solid solutions, colligative properties, relative, lowering of vapor pressure, Raoult's law, elevation of boiling point, depression of freezing point, osmotic pressure, determination of molecular masses using colligative properties, abnormal molecular mass, Van Hoff factor. Unit 3, Class 12 Chemistry, Electrochemistry, Redox reactions, conductance in electrolytic solutions, specific and molar conductivity variation of conductivity with concentration, Kohlrausch's law, electrolysis and laws of electrolysis, elementary idea, dry cell electrolytic cells and galvanic cells. Lead accumulator, EMF of a cell, standard electrode potential, relation between Gibbs energy change and EMF of a cell, fuel cells, corrosion. Class 12 Chemistry Unit 4 Chemical Kinetics. Rate of a reaction, average and instantaneous, factors affecting rates of reaction, concentration, temperature, catalyst, order and molecularity of a reaction. Rate law and specific rate constant, integrated rate equations and half-life only for zero and first order reactions. Concept of collision theory. Elementary idea, no mathematical treatment, activation energy, Arrhenius equation. Class 12th, Unit 5 Chemistry, Surface Chemistry, Adsorption, Physisorption, and Chemisorption. Factors affecting adsorption of gases on solids, catalysis, homogeneous and heterogeneous, activity and selectivity, enzyme catalysis, colloidal state, distinction between true solutions, colloids and suspensions, lyophilic, lyophobic, multimolecular and macromolecular colloids, properties of colloids, Tyndall effect, Brownian movement, electrophoresis, coagulation, emulsions, types of emulsions. Class 12th Chemistry Unit 6 General Principles and Processes of Isolation of Elements, Principles and Methods of Extraction, Concentration, Oxidation, Reduction, Electrolytic Method and Refining, Occurrence and Principles of Extraction of Aluminium, Copper, Zinc and Iron. Class 12th Chemistry Unit 7 P Block Elements, Group 15 Elements, General Introduction, Electronic Configuration, Occurrence, Oxidation States, Trends in Physical and Chemical Properties, Preparation and Properties of Ammonia and Nitric Acid, Oxides of Nitrogen, Structure only, Phosphorus, Allotropic Forms, Compounds of Phosphorus, Preparation and Property of phosphine halides, PCl3, PCl5, and oxoacids. Elementary idea only. Group 16 elements, general introduction, electronic configuration, oxidation states, occurrence, trends in physical and chemical properties, dioxygen preparation, properties and uses, classification of oxides, ozone, sulfur allotropic forms, compounds of sulfur, preparation, properties and uses of sulfur dioxide, sulfuric acid, industrial process of manufacture, properties and uses, oxoacids of sulfur, structures only. Group 17 elements, general introduction, electronic configuration, oxidation states, occurrence, trains in physical and chemical properties, compounds of halogens, preparation, properties, and uses of chlorine and hydrochloric acid, interhalogen compounds, oxoacids of halogens, structures only. Group 18 elements, general introduction, electronic configuration, occurrence, trains in physical and chemical properties, and uses. Class 12th, Chemistry Unit 8, D and F block elements. General introduction, electronic configuration, characteristics of transition metals, general trends in properties of the first row transition metals, metallic character, ionization enthalpy, oxidation states, ionic radii, color, catalytic property, magnetic properties, interstitial compounds, alloy formation, preparation and properties of K2Cr2O7 and KMnO4, that is potassium, I don't know, lanthanides, electronic configuration, oxidation states, chemical reactivity, and lanthanide contraction and its consequences, actinoids, electronic configuration, oxidation states, and comparison with lanthanides. Class 12th Chemistry Unit 9 Coordination Compounds. Coordination Compounds Introduction, Ligands, Coordination Number, Color, Magnetic Properties and Shapes, IUPAC, nomenclature of mononuclear coordination compounds, isomerism, structural and stereo bonding, Werner's theory, VBT, CFT, importance of coordination compounds in qualitative analysis biological systems. Class 12 Chemistry Haloalkenes, Unit 10 Haloalkenes and Haloarenes. Haloalkenes nomenclature, nature of C-X bond, physical and chemical properties, mechanism of substitution reactions, optical rotation. Haloarenes, nature of C-X bond, substitution reactions, directive influence of halogen for monosubstituted compounds only, uses and environment effects of dichloromethane, trichloromethane, tetrachloromethane, iodoform, freons, DDT. Class 12th Chemistry Unit 11 Alcohols, phenols and ethers. Alcohols nomenclature, methods of preparation, physical and chemical properties of primary alcohols only, identification of primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols, mechanism of dehydration, uses with special reference to methanol and ethanol, phenols, nomenclature, methods of preparation, physical and chemical properties, acidic nature of phenol, electrophilic substitution reactions, uses of phenols, ethers, nomenclature, methods of preparation, physical and chemical properties, uses. Class 12 Chemistry, Unit 12 Aldehydes, Ketones, and Carboxylic Acids. Aldehydes and ketones, nomenclature, nature of carbonyl group, methods of preparation, physical and chemical properties, and mechanism of nucleophilic addition, reactivity of alpha hydrogen in aldehydes, uses. Carboxylic acids, nomenclature, acidic nature, methods of preparation, physical and chemical properties, uses. Class 12 Chemistry 11 Unit 13 Organic compounds containing nitrogen. Amines, nomenclature, classification, structure, methods of preparation, physical and chemical properties, uses, identification of primary, secondary, and tertiary amines. Cyanides and isocyanides will be mentioned at relevant places. Diazonium salts, preparation, chemical reactions, and importance in synthetic organic chemistry. Class 12th Chemistry Unit 15th Biomolecules. Carbohydrates, classification, aldosis and ketosis, monosaccharide, glucose and fructose, DL configuration, oligosaccharides, sucrose, lactose, maltose, polysaccharides, starch, cellulose, glycogen, importance. Proteins, elementary idea of amino acids, peptide bond, polypeptides, proteins, primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, and quaternary structure, qualitative idea only. Denaturation of proteins, enzymes. Hormones, elementary idea, excluding structure. Vitamins, classification and function. Nucleic acids, DNA and RNA. Class 12th Chemistry Unit 15th Polymers. Classification, natural and synthetic. Methods of polymerization, addition and condensation. copolymerization, some important polymers, natural and synthetic like polyesters, bakelite, rubber, biodegradable and non-biodegradable polymers. Class 12th, Unit 16th, Chemistry in Everyday Life. Chemistry. Chemicals in medicines, analgesics, tranquilizers, antiseptics, disinfectants, antimicrobials, anti-fertility drugs, antibiotics, antacids, antihistamines, chemicals in food preservatives, artificial sweetening agents, elementary idea of antioxidants, cleansing agents, soaps and detergents, cleansing action. Biology syllabus in deep, contents of class 11 syllabus, Unit 1, Class 11, Diversity in Living World. What is living? Biodiversity, need for classification, three domains of life, taxonomy and systematics, concept of species, and taxonomical hierarchy, binomial nomenclature, tools for study of taxonomy, museums, zoos, herbaria, botanical gardens. Five kingdom classification, salient features and classification of Monera, Protista, and fungi into major groups, lichens, viruses, and viroids. Salient features and classification of plants in major groups, algae, thallophyta, that is thallophyta, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. 3 to 5 salient and distinguishing features and at least 2 examples of each category. Angiosperms, classification up to class, characteristic features and examples. Salient features and classification of animals, non-chordate up to phyla level and chordate up to classes level. 3 to 5 salient features and at least 2 examples. Class 11 Unit 2 Biology, Structural Organization in Animals and Plants, Morphology and Modifications, Tissues, Anatomy and Functions of different parts of flowering plants, root, stem, leaf, inflorescence, cymose and racemose, flower, fruit and seed, to be dealt along with the relevant practical of the practical syllabus. Animal tissues, morphology, anatomy, and functions of different systems, digestive, circulatory, respiratory, nervous, and reproductive of an insect, cockroach, brief account only. Class 11th, Biology Unit 3, Cell Structure and Function, Cell Theory and Cell as the basic unit of life, Structure of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell, plant cell and animal cell, cell envelope, cell membrane, cell wall, cell organelle structures and function, endomembrane system, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, lysosomes, vacuoles, mitochondria, ribosomes, plastids, microbodies, that is cytoskeleton, cilia, flagella, centrioles, ultrastructure and function, nucleus, nuclear membrane, chromatin, nucleolus. Chemical constituents of living cells, biomolecules, structure and function of proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, nucleic acids, enzymes, types, properties, enzyme action. B. Cell division, cell cycle, mitosis, meiosis, and their significance. Class 11 Biology Unit 4 Plant Physiology Transport in plants, movement of water, gases and nutrients, cell to cell transport diffusion, facilitated diffusion, active transport, active transport, plant water relations, imbibition, water potential, osmosis, plasmolysis, long distance, transport of water, absorption, apoplast, symplast, transpiration pull, root pressure, and guttation. Transpiration, opening and closing of stomata, uptake and translocation of mineral nutrients, transport of food, phloem transport, mass flow hypothesis, diffusion of gases, brief mention. Mineral nutrition, essential minerals, macro and micronutrients and their role, deficiency symptoms, mineral toxicity, elementary idea of hydroponics as a method to study mineral nutrition, nitrogen metabolism, nitrogen cycle, biological nitrogen fixation. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis as a means of autotrophic nutrition. Site of photosynthesis takes place. Pigments involved in photosynthesis. Elementary idea. Photochemical and biosynthetic phases of photosynthesis. Cyclic and non-cyclic. And photophosphorylation. Chemiosmotic hypothesis. Photorespiration. C3 and C4 pathways. Factors affecting photosynthesis. Respiration, exchange gases, cellular respiration, glycolysis, fermentation, anaerobic, TCA cycle and electron transport system, aerobic, in aerobics, energy relations, number of ATP molecule generated, amphibolic pathways, respiratory quotient. Plant growth and development. Seed germination, phases of plant growth and plant growth rate. Conditions of growth, differentiation, de-differentiation and redifferentiation. Sequence of developmental process in a plant cell. Growth regulators, auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, ethylene, ABA, seed dormancy, vernalization, photoperiodism. Class 11, Unit 4, Human Physiology, Digestion and Absorption, Alimentary Canal and Digestive Glands, Role of digestive enzymes and gastrointestinal hormones, peristalsis, digestion, absorption, and assimilation of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, caloric value of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, egestion, nutritional and digestive disorders, PEM, indigestion, constipation, vomiting, jaundice, diarrhea, breathing and respiration, respiratory organs in animals, recall only, respiratory system in humans, mechanism of breathing and its regulation in humans, exchange of gases, transport of gases, and regulation of respiration. Respiratory volumes, disorders related to respiration, asthma, emphysema, occupational respiratory disorders, body fluids and circulation, composition of blood, blood groups, coagulation of blood, composition of lymph, and its function. Human circulatory system, structure of human heart and blood vessels, cardiac cycle, cardiac output, ECG, double circulation, regulation of cardiac activity, disorders of circulatory system, hypertension, coronary artery disease, angina pectoris, heart failure, excretory products and their elimination, modes of excretion, ammonotelism, ureotelism, uricotelism, human excretory system, structure and function, urine formation, osmoregulation, regulation of kidney function, renin, angiotensin, atrial natriur natriuretic factor, ADH, and diabetes insipidus, role of other organisms in excretion, disorders, uremia, renal failure, renal calculi, nephritis, dialysis, and artificial kidney, locomotion and movement, types of movement, ciliary, flagellar, muscular, skeletal, muscle, contractile proteins, and muscle contraction, skeletal system and its functions, to be dealt with relevant practical syllabus. Joints, disorders of muscular and skeletal system, mys- myasthenia gravis, tetany, muscular dystrophy, arthritis, osteoporosis, gout. Neural control and coordination, neuron and nerves, your nervous system in human central nervous system, peripheral nervous system and visceral nervous system, generation and conduction of nerve impulse, reflex action, sense organs, elementary structure and function of eye and ear, chemical coordination and regulation, endocrine glands and hormones, human endocrine system, hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal, thyroid, parathyroid, adrenal, pancreas, gonads, mechanism of hormone action, elementary idea, role of hormones as messengers and regulators, hypo and hyperactivity and related disorders. Common disorders example dwarfism, acromegaly, cretinism, goiter, exophthalmic goiter, diabetes, Addison's disease. Important is diseases and disorders mentioned about to be dealt in brief. Now let's read about the contents of class 12th syllabus, unit 1, reproduction, class 12th, biology, reproduction in organisms, reproduction a characteristic feature of all organisms for continuation of species, modes of reproduction, asexual and sexual, asexual reproduction, modes, binary fission, sporulation, budding, gemule, fragmentation, vegetative propagation in plants. Sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Flower structure, development of male and female gametophytes, pollination types, agencies and examples, outbreeding devices, pollen pistil integration, interaction, double fertilization, post-fertilization events, development of endosperm and embryo, development of seed and formation of fruit, special modes, apomixis, parthenocarpy, polyembryony, significance of seed and fruit formation, human reproduction, male and female reproductive systems, microscopic anatomy of testis and ovary, gametogenesis, spermatogenesis, and oogenesis, menstrual cycle, fertilization, embryo development up to blastocyst formation, implantation, pregnancy, and placenta formation. Elementary idea, parturition, elementary idea, lactation, elementary idea. Reproduction health, need for reproductive health and prevention of sexually transmitted diseases, STD, birth control need and methods of contraception and medical termination of pregnancy, MTP. Amniocentesis, infertility and assisted reproductive technologies, IVF, ZIFT, ZIFT, GIFT, GIFT. Elementary idea for general awareness. Unit 2, Class 12th Biology, Genetics and Evolution. Heredity and variation, Mendelian inheritance, deviations from Mendelianism, incomplete dominance, co-dominance, multiple alleles, and inheritance of blood groups. Pleiotropy, elementary idea of polygenic inheritance, chromosome theory of inheritance, chromosomes and genes, sex determination in humans, birds, honeybee, linkage and crossing over, sex-linked inheritance, hemophilia, color blindness, Mendelian disorders in humans, thalassemia, chromosomal disorders in humans, Down's syndrome, Turner's and Klinefelter's syndrome. Molecular basis of inheritance. Search for genetic material and DNA as genetic material. Structure of DNA and RNA. DNA packaging. DNA replication. Central dogma. Transcription. Genetic code. Translation. Gene expression and regulation. Lac operon. Genome and human genome project. DNA fingerprinting. Evolution. Origin of life, biological evolution and evidences for biological evolution from paleontology, comparative anatomy, embryology, and molecular evidence. Darwin's contribution, modern synthetic theory of evolution, mechanism of evolution, variation, mutation and recombination, and natural selection with examples, types of natural selection, gene flow, and genetic drift. Hardy-Weinberg's principle, adaptive radiation, human evolution. Class 12th, Unit 3 Biology, Biology and Human Welfare, Health and Disease, Pathogens, Parasites causing human diseases, Malaria, Filariasis, Ascariasis, Typhoid, Pneumonia, Common Cold, Amoebiasis, Ringworm. Basic concepts of immunology, vaccines, cancer, HIV and AIDS, adolescence, drug and alcohol abuse. Improvement in food production, plant breeding, tissue culture, single cell protein, biofortification, apiculture, and animal husbandry. Microbes in human welfare, in household, food processing, industrial production, sewage treatment, energy generation, and as biocontrol agents and biofertilizers. Class 12th Biology Unit 4 Biotechnology and its applications. Principles and process of biotechnology, genetic engineering, recombinant DNA technology, application of biotechnology in health and agriculture, human insulin and vaccine production, gene therapy, genetically modified organisms, BT crops, transgenic animals, biosafety issues, biopiracy and patents. Class 12th Unit 5 Biology, Ecology and Environment, Organisms and Environment, Habitat and Niche, Population and Ecological Adaptations, Population Interactions, Mutualism, Competition, Predation, Parasitism, Population Attributes Growth, Birth Rate and Death Rate, Age Distribution, Ecosystems, Patterns, Components, Productivity and Decomposition, Energy Flow, Pyramids of Number, Biomass, Energy, Nutrient Cycling, Carbon and Phosphorus, Ecological Succession, Ecological Services, Carbon Fixation, Pollination, Oxygen Release, Biodiversity and its Conservation, Concept of Biodiversity, Patterns of biodiversity, importance of biodiversity, loss of biodiversity, biodiversity conservation, hotspots, endangered organisms, extinction, red data book, biosphere reserves, national parks and sanctuaries, environmental issues, air pollution and its control, water pollution and its control, agrochemicals and their effects, solid waste management, radioactive waste management, greenhouse effect and global warming, ozone depletion, deforestation, any 3 case studies as success stories addressing environmental issues. Here we have done with the syllabus reading of class 11th, 12th physics, chemistry, biology, PCB for Neet 2024, and finally we have completed the syllabus, and surely I'll learn this whole syllabus one day, and we have to work strategically to achieve success. Success is not only just success, it's everything that we have to use everything that we get and work hard, work smart, and health is also wealth. So everything is important in this journey, and so thank you very much. I'll surely become a very successful doctor in World Health Organization, and also my aim is to become neurologist, and surely I'll do it. I know. I'm confident about it.